Nina. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to be back again with you today, featuring a card that I've created using a couple of Newton's Nook products. One of the products that I'll be using today is the Bushels of Love stamp set, which is a collaboration set that was released with Simon Says Stamp over STAMPtember. The set is no longer available at this point, but I know a lot of you did get it, so I wanted to feature it in my card today to give you inspiration on how you can actually use this with other Newton's Nook products that I'll be sharing in this video. I'm also going to be using the Hedgehog Hollow stamp set. This is a newer stamp set from Newton's Nook. I think it came out over September, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm stamping out one of the images from the Bushels of Love stamp set first. And I'm stamping it onto some Post-it note tape. I'm stamping it onto the Post-it note tape because I'm going to be doing some masking. I want to be able to have a mask that I'll be able to apply over top of my image so that I can stamp other images that are going to be behind this little fox. So I fussy cut this out with my fine tip scissors, and now I'm going to go ahead and ink this up onto my watercolor paper. The watercolor paper that I'm using is some Strathmore Bristol Smooth paper. Technically this isn't a watercolor paper, but it works well for watercoloring, especially with the Zig Clean color markers, which is what I'm going to be using today. I'm going to lay my mask over top of the image, which I stamped with the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. This ink is waterproof, so this is the perfect ink for using with not only your Copic markers, but also with watercolor markers and paints. These extra mushrooms that I'm stamping here are from the Hedgehog Hollow stamp set, and I'm stamping these on top of the masked off fox, which will allow them to be in the background. So that's going to add some depth to our scene. And then I'm also going to stamp this adorable little bird, which is from the Bushels of Love stamp set, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that down along the top area. Now I'm going to end up cutting this down after I've done my watercoloring, but I'm going to go ahead and do my watercoloring first, and then I'll go ahead and trim this down, and we'll get to that point in a second. Now one thing to note with this watercoloring is that I created this in a storybook style. So if any of you are familiar with the storybook style of coloring, it's a very natural looking color tone as far as like the colors are more muted and they have a more earthy tone to them. And they have a little bit more of a harder edge. They don't have that perfect smooth coloring as if you were using with, say, Copics. So you're going to have some hard and soft edges. And it's kind of a free form version of watercoloring. You're not going to be coloring outside the lines, but it's going to allow you to get a more freer look, and you don't have to be so worried about getting a perfect look with your watercoloring. So I really like the storybook style because it's really fun and allows you to get really creative with your coloring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let you watch the coloring, and I will come back in a few minutes when we go ahead and start building the rest of this card. So now that we finished our coloring, it's time to go ahead and start building this card. I'm taking a piece of cardstock here. This is from Simon Says Stamp, and some of the products I'm going to be using in this video are part of the Simon Says Stamp November card kit. The card kit is sold out, but I'm going to have all the products that I use linked below in the video description and also on my blog because most of the products that were included in the kit are available for individual purpose. I'm also using this background stamp from Simon Says Stamp, and this was released over STAMPtember as well. This one is available for purchase because this is part of Simon's regular line of product. This is the You Matter background stamp, and I'm inking it up in some Simon Says Stamp clear ink. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to get a textured background on my card panel. I don't want it to be really bold and in your face. I just want it to be subtle. I just want it to have a texture. So by using the clear ink, that's allowing me to get a watermark effect. So I'm going to have this really nice textured text in the background of my card, but it's not going to distract from the rest of the card design. I'm taking my watercolor panel, which I had trimmed down with a Simon Says Stamp Stitch rectangle die, and I'm going to take some fun foam and apply it to the back side of my panel to pop it up off of my card. I'm just using some double-sided tape to adhere the fun foam to the back side of the card, and then I will go ahead and pop it up onto my card base using some more double-sided tape. I also added some stitching detail to the outside edges of this card panel using a basic stitch line die from My Favorite Things. I also wanted to add a little bit of detailing with some pens, so I'm taking first a Prismacolor multi-liner. You can use any type of multi-liner. This is just one that I had in my jar of different black pens, and I just grabbed it. But I'm using it to add some little dot details to make a trail to look like the birds flying in the sky. I'm also using my Signo Broad white gel pen to add some white highlights to different images on this scene. I'm adding some details to the mushrooms, to the cheeks of the fox. I'm also going to add some highlights to the pumpkins and also to the grass. Next, I'm going to work on my sentiment. The sentiment is going to be using the stamp set that's from the Simon Says Stamp November card kit. And there's a lot of really nice small sentiments included in that set, which I think are perfect for cards like this where I just need something small to go in the corner. This was a perfect sentiment. I love the fact that it says love you. I think that's perfect for almost any type of card that you need. I went ahead and stamped this onto some burnt orange cardstock, which is also from the kit, and I heat embossed it with white embossing powder. Then I'm going to go ahead and pop it up off of my card using a bit of foam tape, and I'll just tuck it there on the left-hand side of the panel. I also cut a slit along the top portion of the card, and I'm going to wrap some hemp around this card a couple times to add a little bit of more texture to this card. I think the look of the hemp really matches the Storybook feel. This is from May Arts, and I really love this hemp. I'll have this linked in the video description and my blog as well. I just tied this into a little bow right there, meeting up where the sentiment banner is, and I'll just pull that bow until I get it to the size that I want. So that finishes off this card. I hope you've enjoyed and got some inspiration on doing some Storybook style watercoloring and also creating a really cute scene using different stamp sets and combining them together to create a really cool look. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and head on over to my blog where you can get more information on this card and also more inspiration because I do post over at my blog and on my YouTube channel all the time. So if you enjoyed this video, here's a couple more that you might like that I've posted recently featuring watercoloring techniques. Please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can connect with me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, as well as my blog. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you again soon.